Some days, I call my arms wings, with my head in the clouds. Pastor Crawford's car was in the driveway, but I didn't consider this until I came in, and he was sitting there and asked me to take a seat so that we could chat. Chat was a counseling word. A word that when somebody used like that didn't mean chat at all. Honey, we love you. We all love you. We're, just concerned about certain behaviors.
Honey, we think you're a lesbian.
Huh?
And the psych ward says, there is no reason to worry. This asylum is built to help you. And just like the straps on the stretcher you rolled in on, we will keep you safe and secure. Notice the locked doors and all the cameras perched in the corners like hawks. We will be watching. But this is only for you and your well-being.
In 1899, a German psychiatrist electrified his audience with a bold claim. He had turned a gay man straight. All it took was 45 hypnosis sessions, a trip to a brothel, and poof. He had claimed to have manipulated this man's sexual impulses. He didn't know it then, but he would have kicked off the phenomenon that we know today as conversion therapy. He told me about my corruption and how I needed help.
But remember, this asylum was built to help
you. The act of conversion therapy, or the idea that you can alter someone's sexual identity, dates back to 1899. In 1973, the American Psychiatric Association voted to formally remove homosexuality as a mental disorder. However, after 50 years later, conversion therapy is still legally being practiced in 32 states. And this includes the practice of minors. Being queer is not a choice, nor is it something that should be fixed or cured. So, through the prose, the miseducation of Cameron Post by Emily Danforth, Boy Erased by Jared Conley, the poetry, and the psych word says by Anita D. And I Sing the Body Electric, especially my power song by Andrea Gibson, is in History.com's article by Aaron Powell in the movie Bottom and Cheerleader. The passing of the marriage amendment in 2015 was a monumental step for LGBTQ in America. But it was just one step on a long journey to equality. Conversion.
Welcome. I'm Mary, the director of New Directions. And what are you, about 17?
Oh, we almost lost it at college.
It's so much harder after all of that liberal arts brainwashing.
So we decided I'd go to God's Promise, a Christian discipleship program.
There it was Jean who gave the official welcome to God's Promise. She carried a clipboard and a forward camera.
The photo slid forward. On the back was an area filled with books. There's inspiring novels, a hefty stack of Bibles, and testimonials. Dozens. From successful ex-gays, conversion therapy, a set of pseudo-scientific techniques. In the late 19th century, same-sex desire was viewed as a mental condition, and experts were trying to find ways to reverse it.
It's a 2-month program with 5 simple steps.
But first, why didn't you just address your problem? I don't think anything's unnatural.
Ha!
See? You don't even think anything's wrong. Now let's say you see a woman. Perhaps she's wearing a tight skirt. Beautiful legs. Maybe she's in the bathroom. Putting lipstick over full lips.
It is a long path to righteousness, Megan, but you're going to have to fight.
So we can pretend that your stay here is voluntary. So please, take advantage of the 5 to 10 minutes that you have with the doctors every day.
But understand, you won't be receiving any actual therapy while you're here, but we will recommend it as treatment for when we let you out. Until then, we want you to remain. The longer I stayed, I promise, the more the things they threw at me just started to stick. Every single day, we'd start in the classroom. We'd stand in a circle, hold hands, and pray. I do not pray for God to fix me, because God does not make mistakes. I am the one who is tempted by sin. I must change.
Megan, meet the rest of your group.
Hi, I'm Jan. I'm a softball player and I'm a homosexual. I'm Sinead. I like pain. I'm a homosexual. Dolph, homosexual varsity wrestler. How you doing?
Andre, actor, dancer. Homosexual.
The concept that homosexuality was a mental disorder was accepted by the majority of the medical community.
So relax. Enjoy the plastic furniture. We have an old radio, but the static is still loud enough to drown out the sounds of the women screaming in 2B. Oh, that's just Cindy.
She does that sometimes.
So 1973, the APA formally removes homosexuality from the DSM, its influential manual of psychiatric disorders.
So let's discuss the issues from your intervention.
I am a vegetarian. I keep pictures of women around.
I never even thought about it before. Look, I go to school. I get good grades. I go to church. I'm a cheerleader. I mean, everyone reads Cosmo. Everyone thinks about girls. All the time. Look, I thought everyone had those thoughts. I just want to be normal. Pastor Crawford paused. He said it's important he tells us all what happened last night. Last night, Mark took a razor and cut his genitals and poured bleach all over the world. I was so angry. And then you guys wake up and find a bloody mess, and this is how you handle it? I mean, how are you guys gonna fix this one? Huh? What kind of worksheet are you guys going to assign for me this time? I mean, you guys don't even know what you're doing here, do you? Like your parents haven't already told us everything. So just be honest and let us help you. Did I mention we still have time for a breakthrough or breakdown? This is a good thing. We still have time to help you under medical supervision. Patients who are forced to look at photos of their loved ones while given electrical shocks. First, my mother. I had to unlearn their prison spirit. Refuse to make wishes on the star on the sheriff's chest. I started wishing on stars instead. I asked the sun, tell me about the Big Bang. The sun said it hurts. Speak up. Some days, I call my arms wings. And it'll take a few more years to learn that this is my body. And there's no one's but mine.
and time again, you lift metal pellets onto a table. Down, lift, your back pops. If pseudoscience has taught me anything, it's that you can heal anything with anything. For example, every time you high-five someone, the stardust in your bodies collide and creates a tiny Big Bang in your palms. High-fiving someone can cure your depression. Woo! High-five therapy. Do you hear that? All the things I meant to do are burnt spoons hanging from the porch like sharks. Do you have some wind? Just a hit. I can tell you how it tastes. Heroin. Heaven. It's going to be okay. You made a mistake. We all make mistakes. We're going to try to go forward here, and I'm here to help you. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people in this community who don't understand addiction, who don't think Narcan should be out there. The doctor scribbles you a prescription for pain. Twist, pop, swallow. In 2019, 47,000 people in the U.S. died as a result of an overdose involving opioids. Narcan, a nasal spray which can resuscitate overdose victims, plays a crucial role in providing relief to the opioid epidemic. However, many critics of the reversal drug claim that Narcan simply enables addiction and therefore should be banned. But when there is a cure to this public health crisis, we must make sure it is accessible to all those plagued by the disease of addiction. So, the poems I Know You're Kind by William Brewer, Pseudoscience and Morpheus Weaponized by R.J. Walker, Prescription for Addiction by Elijah Thomas, The Prose, The Strength of a Promise by George Chipperfield, and articles from CNN, Timeline, and the Huffington Post. Take a breath. A program. Because everyone deserves a second chance. A third chance. Even a fourth. To live. 9 out of 10 pseudo-historians acknowledge that humans have been treating pain with hugs since God invented arms. Studies have shown that the closer my heart is to yours, the quieter they have to speak, the less they ache, the less they hurt, and at this distance, they can whisper. I tell you what they're saying, but it's a secret. You'll know it when you hear it. Hydrocodone, acetaminophen. Well, damn, okay. Hydrocodone, acetaminophen. They're big enough for a bowl. At dinner, your daughter, 7 years old with her mom's eyes and your stubborn head, looks at you like she sees you so clearly. She talks about school and Hannah Montana. You hate that shit show. You swallow a white pill with a cold Bud Light and join your daughter for some Hannah time. You notice your back pain is gone. They chained me in bottles, carrying me around like the flag of a conquered country, their miracle cure. Shouting, look, we no longer have to hurt. They say we're enablers. But somebody who has a heart attack, are we enabling them by giving them CPR? Oh, but their cholesterol's too high. We shouldn't have saved his life. One overdose is too many. It's unacceptable. It's destroying a whole generation. The people, I don't know why they do it. Now, let's slide. At work, your friend tells you that you don't need a doctor to fill a prescription. Now, let's slide. When he tells you about heroin, your body stops. And you start to feel hungry. You realize that this is what addiction feels like. When you think of your daughter and the promises you made to defy eugenetics. A lot of my peers said, you didn't stick that needle in their arm. Why should you pull it out? But then some of those same people started changing their minds because they had a family member die. It's a lifesaver. Like having a fire extinguisher. Hopefully you won't need it, but it's important to have Narcan on hand. Just in case. Remember? Someone found me in a coffee shop bathroom after I'd overdone it and carried me like a feed sack to the curb. As they brought me back, they said the poppies on my arm, bruised red petals. Your daughter and wife are asleep. You do exactly as the gentleman said. The correct heat of the spoon, the vacuum sealed syringe. When the needle breaks skin, the black tar ignites in your veins. Your blood burns like wildfire. Everything around you engulfed in smoke. Then you see something small. A face. Your daughter. Dad? 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 Hello? My dad's dead. He's not waking up or anything. Help! When I heard the news, I looked at my hand and high-fived your photo until my smartphone cracked. A shattered galaxy in my palm, a bloody Big Bang. I wanted to high-five the chronic pain out of you. Wanted to Big Bang that accident backwards, slap the stardust into your body into shaking the scars off your skin. But no matter how hard I hit, or how close my heart beats, I cannot hug the overdose from your blood. I can just it's gonna be okay. Baby, I'm so sorry. I promise I won't do it again. We can save so many lives with this. And you are the reason I want to be a pseudoscientist. And as a pseudoscientist, it is my pseudo-sworn duty to think of new and creative cures that have actually always been around. Addiction is not so much a crime as a disease. I don't have any reservations helping sick people at all. Everyone deserves to be saved. ham again. You
Mama
lift
always said.
metal pellets all to a table.
Mama always said, baby, use your words, use your mouth. For too long, we have been silenced. Thank you for joining us. My name is Gail King. I'm sitting here today with Robert Kelly, also known as R. Kelly. Though Mr. Kelly is an award-winning singer, songwriter, and producer, we won't be discussing his music today. I'm sorry I'm not the rape poem you're used to. Not Western beauty standard. Too black woman strong for you to imagine. Forced, held down, controlled. I thought he was kind. As two black students at one of the nation's most prestigious PWIs, my rapist and I knew each other well. I mean, he was hardworking, charming, and I even considered him a friend. I'm afraid to tell this story for fear of being called a traitor. Because as black women, we're supposed to protect our community. We're here today to discuss his recent arrest on 10 accounts of aggravated criminal sexual assault. The Department of Justice estimates that 1 in 6 white women report their rape, while only 1 in 16 black women report theirs. Is this a recent phenomenon or a learned behavior over past generations? Mr. Kelly, what do you have to say for yourself? On January 3rd, 2019, a number of black women came forward to accuse popular black artist R. Kelly of underage sexual assault. Despite receiving overwhelming amounts of support, those in the black community rallied in support of R. Kelly, criticizing the women for betraying a member of their community. With the responsibility to protect black men, black women have been forced into a culture of silence, to the point where for every black woman that does report her rape, 15 do not. In addition to remain silent for black men, black women have been silenced after centuries of being portrayed as promiscuous and rightfully assaulted. These attitudes have left black women in a double bind today. Silenced by a world that deems them too sexual to be victims, or scared to become the voice that further destroys the black male image. So through the prose, Why I Chose to Remain Silent About My Rape by Blavity, the poems, A Poem About My Rights by June Jordan, Speak by Chantal Hunnigan, What I Learned at Afropunk by Crystal Valentine, Irregular Rape Poem by Sherry Hall, and through the articles by Patricia Broussard, BBC, and CBS News. Stuck in Silence, a program. Because as the Me Too movement continues to gain momentum, black women are still clawing their way out of a culture of silence. Is the camera on? Is the camera on me? Gail, I have been assassinated. Why would I be handcuffing people, starving people? Why would I have a cult? Gail, I don't even know what a cult is, but I know I don't have one. I remember that night. I was dancing with my friends at the Blackest Festival while listening to the Blackest music. And out of the corner of my eye, I could see him, a black man waving his black power fist in the air. We started dancing together. And I thought I was safe. Thought I could trust a black man's hands. I'm sorry that I'm a Jezebel, that I'm promiscuous and exotic, that I'm fast I'm sorry, I was asking for it. Black girl loses her body. Black man scoops it up, gropes it, bends it over. Black man does this while a crowd watches. R. Kelly, have you broken any laws when it comes to women? I woke up, lying in the grass, and I realized that this wasn't a dream. There was someone on top of me. How could it be him? Everyone knew him. How could a black man do this to me? I've made mistakes, but by no means am I a monster. Everybody has something bad to say about me. And I mean, I've done lots of things wrong when it comes to women that I apologize for. But I apologize in those relationships at the time I was in those relationships, okay? Gail, this stuff happened 20 years ago, 15 years ago. Why now? Why would these women try to come out now? R. Kelly, you need to understand that when black women finally gather the courage to come forward, they're called a traitor to the black struggle. A national study found that 91% of black women are sexually assaulted by black men. And this is what keeps black women's stories stuck in the shadows. I'm sorry, we hide our voices deep inside our throats. We remain in silence, too silent, too afraid to speak up. Mama said, use your words. I showed it up. And ripped off me. The bruises on my neck, my hips, and my thighs. And I willed myself to give them his name. His name. His name. I couldn't tell them his name was Robert. We have to have a conversation. This has been such long-standing allegations against you starting back in the late 90s. And here we are in 2020, and they are still talking about you. Use your words. Maybe he didn't hear me say no. I mean, maybe he didn't realize that I was crying. I tried to convince myself that he's still the good guy everyone thinks he is, but y'all quit playing. I didn't do this stuff. This is not me. I am fighting for my freaking life. They are lying on me. For too long, we have seen ourselves as victims. For too long, we have seen ourselves as powerless. Our ancestors took lashes for saying their names, and for too long, we have been stuck in silence. Use your words. Use your mouth. Tell the truth. The truth is, I'm expected to remain silent because my murderer shares my skin color. I was molested by a black man in front of a crowd of black people who wouldn't even turn down the music. I was still rooting for him. Finally, as I spoke these words, I could hear my heart speak as my mouth beat, and it reminded me that silence is deadly. That justice is finally arriving as black women continue to speak up. This interview with R. Kelly is shining a light on a national conversation about black women, about sexual assault, and about silence. And this is a conversation long overdue, so please my sisters. Speak up. Speak out. Speak now. Speak.
I was told to lie the first time I confessed my sexuality to the church. I disclosed that I was gay my first week in seminary, and this came after encouragement to all of us first years to find a priest on staff who could confide in if we were in fact struggling with same-sex attraction. So when my priest instructed me on how to respond to the upcoming psychosexual photo evaluation all new seminarians were required to take, I wasn't sure if he was just giving me the correct answers to make things easy on me, or because he didn't trust me. A 19-year-old gay seminary. Which would make for a better picture? A group of religious leaders serving the poor, or celebrating discrimination? When gay marriage first began gaining traction around this country, I fully expected some pushback. After all, change is hard. But what I didn't expect came when I saw a photo published on Indianapolis Monkey's website. The photo was of Indiana Governor Mike Pence surrounded by religious leaders after signing the anti-gay bill on March 26th. Religious leaders? What if I told you God is gay? Do you still think belligerent Bible belters would holler hate speech to the hilltops in his name? Or do you think they would reread the scriptures they say they swear and survive by? See, I've been reading the Bible again lately, and I think I've taken a leaf from their holy book, picking passages for my purpose, which is, in short, to let you know it's very possible that God is gay. What I believe about homosexuals is straight from the Word of God. They are worthy of death. According to the New York Post, approximately 80% of Catholic priests in the Vatican are gay. Unfortunately, religion and homosexuality have a history of conflict. The source of this conflict is the psychosexual photo evaluation all new seminarians are forced to take before they can become priests. During this test, seminarians are shown charcoal drawings of two men interacting sexually. In order to pass this test, they must explain why each of the photos does not contain anything that can be classified as gay. I'm beginning to understand the negative effects of preaching against homosexuality throughout many religions, and the role homosexuality plays in religion. Acceptance is not that complicated after all, and after feeling hated by the church that I grew up in only after coming out, explains exactly why we must begin to talk about this issue. Through articles from the New York Times, Medium, the Huffington Post, and the Washington Post, the drama Vanished by Laura Drain, and the poetry God is Gay by Elliot Zerba. Confession. Appropriate. Because love is not a sin. All my life I have loved Texas. The big skies, big steaks, and a big attitude. So I spend most of my time there. But Texas doesn't really love me back. Or at least lawmakers sure are hell-bent on making it seem that way. You know, just last month the governor signed a bill allowing child welfare groups to refuse adoptions based on sincerely held religious beliefs. That means they could refuse gay men like me. Gregory Grayton was 17 years old when priests first organized the game. It was 1982 and he was on a retreat with his classmates. Leaders asked each boy to rank which he would rather be. Burned over 90% of his body. Paraplegic. dead. They're weak, they're spineless, and you know what? If the Bible says it, you need to say it too. You need to preach it. Each chose to be scorched or paralyzed. No one uttered the word gay. The priest called the game of life. You're going to be shown a lot of semi-naked men interacting physically with young boys. The rector of my seminary told me, leaning in like it was some sort of juicy family secret. The key is, when they ask you what you see, you have to say that everything looks perfectly normal. You've got to tell them, no, I don't see a gross old man trying to have sex with a teenage boy. Don't worry. You'll do fine. The message from my rector resonated loud and clear. Give the answers that make you look as squeaky, clean, and hetero as possible. Have I ever had sexual contact with another member of the same sex? Absolutely not. Heaven forbid. The game of life. The lesson stopped. 7 years later, he climbed up into his seminary dorm window and dangled one leg over the edge. I really am gay. Father Greitens, now a priest in Milwaukee, remembers telling himself this for the first time. It was a death sentence. For years, church leaders have driven gay congregants away in shame and insisted that homosexual tendencies are disorder. And yet, thousands of the church's priests are walking around like a bunch of Twinkies. Hey man, call the right team. We got a bunch of them. The first image I was shown was a man sitting alone on his bed, depression etched into his face, eyes cast down at his groin. Give the answers that make you look as squeaky, clean, and hetero as possible. I stalled, trying to figure out how to spin an image that screamed sexual frustration. This is a guy who's deep in prayer. A history lesson. A faggot is a bundle of sticks, originally used as kindling for fires that engulfed gays when they were burned at the stake. People were firewood, but Moses came across wood on fire and saw God in it. What is a burning bush but a bundle of branches? Isn't it funny how faggots and God can look the same sometimes? Or citizen states often dictate how easily we can be our true selves at work. Buy wedding cakes, construct families, and even die. So I asked John Davidson of Lambda Legal, an LGBT advocacy group, if he could share with me some cases which outline just how oppressive some corners of America can be. So he told me about Picayune, Mississippi, where an 86-year-old gay man recently passed away, leaving behind his 82-year-old husband. And yet, even though prior arrangements had been made, the funeral home refused to pick up the dead man's body. Once it learned of his same-sex marriage, next came an image of a man, shirtless, muscles strained and bulging, pinning down a boy whose face was twisted in agony. Dear God, I thought. The image was terrifying. My rector's instructions to find everything perfectly normal seemed like a taunt now. I smiled to try to cover the way my stomach was churning. This is what I have to do to serve the church. Fag priests. Was I really some kind of deviant if I saw anything bizarre in them? Oh, priests are pedophiles. Did seem implications of perversion imply that I wanted to do these things myself? Priests rape boys. I am not surprised that the church and church leadership continue to see whatever they want to see. When it comes to positions of power, people learn to see what will protect their own standing. And what I care about just as much are those of us who have been taught to see nothing but evil in our own sexuality before it's even acted upon. Those of us who have internalized the church's language about what our lives are capable of because we desperately grasp at faith like Jesus had to die and it turned out just fine. I was brought up believing my Savior loved us all and never had to specify no homo. But if you have hate in your heart, say it, don't pray it, don't teach it, and for the love of God, don't preach it. For voices that should be filled with love and praise instead of raised with hate. And rage, sometimes I wonder what it would be like if I could show the Catholic Church, sitting intently on a couch before me, a charcoal drawing of my own. What do you see?
Mr. Boston, will you please come to the front of the group? It's your turn. Are you sure? Positive. Hell no. The first time that I ever heard the word gay, cancer, I'd always assumed that being gay was a little bit like having cancer because only people in sad movies had it. And just like the people in sad movies, I mean, it's never going to happen to you. To you, it's only ever going to be a phase, verb, to introduce in gradual stages. Pride Month is a time of celebration where men can get together to celebrate love, liberty, and the occasional fiancé. During these times, it is imperative that we feel safe in the spaces that we inhabit. I'm a part of the book. Listen, guys, it's not like a gay club or anything like that. It's more like a support group. And you know what? They talked to the counselors about it and everything, but it hasn't even been recognized officially. February the 9th, it was revealed that most states still lack the necessary non-discrimination protections against LGBTQ people, the situation being even more severe for LGBTQ African Americans who live at the intersection of racism, homophobia, and transphobia. That's so gay black people. Yes, there is a such thing as gay black people, and we are a lot like X-Men. And I'm not talking about the obvious, teen angst, isolation, the cool costumes. I need a place. I need a safe place, a quiet place, a peaceful place, a place where I can march right up to the urinal and piss like no one is watching, because no one should be watching. I need You guys mean to tell me that this place is meant to be some sort of secret support group for gay black teens? According to a study conducted by the Williams Institute at UCLA Law, it was revealed that in the black community, 43% of teens who came out to their parents were forced to leave because of rejection of their gender identity or sexual orientation. And after leaving, 33% faced physical, emotional, or sexual abuse outside of their homes. These problems are stemmed from a lack of communication and acceptance in our communities about black homosexuality and the absence of safe places where they can freely be themselves. It is necessary that queer individuals like myself can have protected environments where we can freely explore our identities without falling victim to the false narratives society has placed on us, crippled us with, and ultimately dehumanized us with. So, using the poems, That's So Gay by Janine Brown, For Anyone Who's Ever Been Told It's Just a Phase by Kevin Kenter and Sienna Burney, False Ignorances by Skag Stanton, and Gay People Are a Lot Like X-Men by Tom Denai, The Drama, Geography Club by Edmund Inton, A Stand Up by Kevin Hart, and articles from The Root, Huffington Post, and the Human Rights Campaign. A program. Because everyone should have the freedom to show their true colors. I am going to be honest about something. And I want everyone in the room to also be honest with me, because, well, this is something I feel rather strongly about. And I like to know whether I'm correct or incorrect on certain things. I like to be aware of myself, as I tend to say. Because one of my biggest fears is my son growing up and being gay. Now, keep in mind, I'm not homophobic, but if I can prevent my son from being a phase, bird, the process of waxing and waning, then I will, by any means necessary. I came out between the ages of 22 and 24, and let me tell you, my parents took it horrifically. I mean, they pretended like they were okay with it at the time, but by the way that they treated me, it showed otherwise. I mean, for the first time in my life, I felt uncomfortable in the home that I lived in since I was 2 years old. Power number one, invisibility. Okay, so I'm not using it right now, but trust me, even I can fade away. I use it to avoid the bros, as well as the no homo sapiens who somehow find their way into gay clubs, gay bars, and anywhere else you wouldn't want your day ruined. This power is also extra important to avoid becoming someone's black gay best friend. Because yes, we too get tired of picking out endless handbags and saying things like OMG. That's so gay. It's the color on your cheeks that you can't erase when you're caught staring at the School King Straight Alliance poster. And you swear to yourself that the red on that rainbow is nothing compared to the one on your cheeks. You see, most of my classmates graduated from childish banter to hateful slurs, while the rest of us graduated from a cold closet into a freezing world. In a perfect world. Words like dyke, faggot, lesbo, and queer wouldn't even exist. In a perfect world, the shield of ignorance would be seen right through, and we'd all be seen as people. Now, I hate to be the one to inform you of this, but we don't live in a perfect world. Power number two, the black sexual appetite. What the hell? Less like a power, this one, but it's the one that everyone fears no matter where you go. I've been asked no less than 6 times if I am attracted to my own reflection. I mean, damn. Wouldn't you be? Hey, bro, don't say that. That's gay. So if I can prevent my son from being labeled as one of those faggots wherever he goes, then I will, by any means necessary. If you think that my love is wrong, then you have no idea what love is. You can't shove love into a box or push it in a closet, because love is the push and the pull of yin and yang. It is 2 rivers flowing side by side in perfect harmony, and it is so much more than just a phase, verb, to remove in gradual stages. I have a dad who is pressuring me to go to Yale and live the same life that he did, and that includes having a wife. He said that if you choose to be gay, then you are no longer part of this family. You want to live that lifestyle? Then you can do it somewhere else. That's so... A geography club? Is it meant to be some type of joke? Some safe place where we can finally find acceptance within ourselves? Something like this can't exist. You guys are all idiots, man. When all of this wide world would ever say about us is that's so gay? Well, let me teach you what that's so gay means to us. That's so gay. You might as well highlight it in our suicide notes to remind us it's the only thing we'll ever be worthy of. That's so gay is running for your life as the walls of the places you once called home crash in around you. That's so gay is the X number of razors that you never used for shaving. That's so gay is Googling how to tie a noose. That's so gay is a dragon. It's a snake. A stripper will stuff that coal on its breath. Stuff that racism on its tongue, molten, talons broken from the struggle to free itself of its own black skin. That's so gay. What? I haven't heard those words. As a black man, owning up to my sexuality came with a price tag, one that I'll be wearing for the rest of my life. I don't want my son to go through that. Power number 3! Learning to accept yourself for who you've always been and wanting to find a place wherever your melanin flows you. Power number 3 is looking them right in the eyes when all that they see is your skin and choosing to show them your heart.
Stay woke. They don't find you. Though it's sleeping. So stay woke. I'm tired of being woke. Tired of being the know-it-all. No. I just know right from wrong. Black millennials be the poster child for having their shit together, ready to moisturize those who don't know the truth. But the thing is, we don't know the word woke is defined as a heightened state of social, political, and cultural awareness. Being woke is like taking the red pill from the Matrix, drinking a Red Bull, and reading a Ta-Nehisi Coates essay. When woke first popped into the universe of the black vernacular, it was cool, clever, descriptive. But, like everything else, including dabbing, once white people found out about it, they ruined it. Shut the black gate! Are you saying that I hate black people? No one's saying you're racist. I mean, you are. But no one's saying it to your face. What you have is more specific. You have Negrophobia. That's a blackface lie. One of my neighbors is African Americans, and I know the full theme song to The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. How can I be racist? I don't want to be an activist today. So I'm tired. Because I can't remember these names. There are too many names. And the TV told me another tragic story. Another antagonist cop. Another protagonist shot. And here I am. Screaming at the TV while the plot thickens. To be a Negro in this country and to be relatively conscious is to be enraged almost all the time. James Baldwin. So stay woke. In April 2018, the University of San Francisco launched their Check Your Privilege campaign, a campus-wide initiative to raise student and staff awareness of social inequality and privilege. The founders explained, if you don't have to think about it, it's a privilege, a concept that Black Americans are far too familiar with. Whether it's the choice to be apolitical or newly found wokeness, privileged bodies are able to choose if and when they want to be concerned about the pressing issues of today. However, for Black Americans, being woke is not a trend we can hop in and out of. As targeted victims of violence and systemic oppression,
We are in a constant state of consciousness, unable to ignore the very issues that threaten our survival. And although the concept of staying woke may seem ideal, it can and does result in negative mental health effects. For Black youth like me, who some days see fit to close their eyes just to live. So, through the poetry, Woke by Melinda Hernandez, Protest by Angel Smith, the drama No More Monsters by Marcus Garvey, the prose Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates, lyrics Redbone by Childish Gambino, and articles by Vox and PBS. A program. Because although everyone claims they are woke, most people don't know there are distinct levels of wokosity. Level 1, asleep. Honestly, one of my best friends is Black. Sharonda, she lets me play. No one's saying you hate Black people. What I'm saying is you fear them. You admitted to locking the door and turning on a car alarm when a Black man walks past. Yeah, but it wasn't because he was Black. It was because he looked scared. Son, I'm writing you. I'm writing you because this was the year you saw Eric Garner choked to death for selling cigarettes, because you know now that Renisha McBride was shot for seeking out help, that John Crawford was shot down for browsing in a department store. And you have seen men in uniform murder an innocent child whom they were oath-bound to protect. Because I feel more like an undertaker than an activist. Because I'm tired of cleaning these blood social media rights on my fingers, making Twitter feed eulogies, posting Instagram pics. Because all Fox News got are mugshots. The effects of activist burnout can be especially acute for marginalized groups. And if they're organizing with direct implications to their own lives, activist efforts can lead to past trauma or vicarious trauma. Being woke means that I'm a walking diaspora in which white folks stay poking, probably picking through my scalp like cotton gonna appear from thin air. Man, I gotta eat, sleep, drink, be fluent in. What's good, my nigga? And good afternoon, sir. Level 2. Broadly. Negroid phobia is a fear of people of African descent. Primarily Black men, just like arachnophobia is a fear of spiders and cyclophobia is a fear of bites. Negroid phobia is a fear of niggas. This fear you have is real. And really screwed up. That's why I invented a cure. So what do I have to do? Simple. All you have to do is put on this hood. Son, it is easy to look away, to live with the fruits of our history, and to ignore the great evils done in all our names. But you and I have never truly had that luxury. And I think you know that I don't want to be an activist today. Because I can't protest tonight. I gotta go to work in the morning while I have to eat lunch in my car to avoid the debates. I lose my appetite when I eat with privilege. I can't eat when I'm biting my tongue. My tongue will poke up my back, my spine will crawl out my mouth. There's a revolution riding in my ribcage. And I can't mute this mutiny. Level 3. Newly woke. Once they finally realize they live in a capitalistic society, built on oppression, they even quit their friends. Because their real eyes realize real lies. Son, it is hard to face this. Racism is a visceral experience that dislodges the brain, blocks the airways, extracts organs, breaks bones, cracks teeth, and you must not look away from this. You must always remember the sociology, the economics, the history, the charts, graphs, all regressions land with violence upon your body. Level 4, eyes wide open. Level 5. Whoa. I don't want to be an activist today. Because I'm tired of drinking morning in my coffee. Because a guilty verdict isn't a resurrection. Because it's not that I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of having the same fight last Monday. I woke up out of bed with a boom, kneeling on my neck, level 6. Sorry. Be happy. Not heavy. You're tired of picking up bodies just to bury them again. Can I cry for my pain or are my tears property of the protest too? Cause some days I just want to say fuck change, and it's also true. To be black and to be woke is to be constantly bombarded with evidence that you live in a country where your life does not matter. And it's infuriating. So what do? Take the streets, put up signs, things can change when you get angry enough. So I sang a lullaby, a prayer to Kwame Ture. I screamed a Mandela so loud, I woke Fred Hampton up out of his sleep. And I ran with the elephants that love to forget, but can never hide their chest, just like I can unclench my fist. I was born with the war paint on my face, and I'll be damned if I let anybody wash it off. So say, don't you go.